morning and welcome to the Saturday morning livecast, whether you're here in person or you're watching later on one of the recordings. Like us, give us an upvote down there underneath there with the little upvotes. Not Christine's picture of the Brady Bunch, but down underneath. I want to say welcome to the only WikiTree. That's all I'm going to say is that we are the WikiTree, which is the biggest, most wonderful community of collaborative genealogists anywhere in the world. We work together to contribute to build a wonderful shared tree where we have one ancestor, one profile, and that person is connected to everybody else on the tree. So that's fun. So you're going to hear us talking about connections today, but mainly today, we're just going to say good morning, and then I'm going to throw it over to Greg and see what kind of weirdness he's got going on. If you notice, he thinks it's still Christmas.
It is.
What's up with that? I do want to say good morning to a lot of our people. Brian, you win your whoopee button today, or winky button. You were here first at 8:25. Goodness. At Tukla, hello. APM from Amanda from Melbourne, Australia. Hello, Susie Carter from Minnesota. Christine Miller from Montana. Jory Jordan from South Africa. Lisa Gervais from right up the street from me in Stittsville or Carp or somewhere over there. Canada, somewhere. I've forgotten. I do know, but I can't think of it right now, of course. Missouri. Aduclas from Missouri. Crystal J. Yeah, Lisa's going to be coming knocking on my door. I know where you live. D. Spencer Carr, Veg Beauty from New York City. Mary Sleppy. Hey, Mary. It's my sister from another mother. From Western Pennsylvania. Simon Forster's here from Wales. Another Wales one. Wait, where's Hillary Gadsby?
She's usually
they're hanging out together at a coffee shop watching us. Let's see. Lisa Gervais, expecting some snow this afternoon and into tomorrow here in Ottawa. Yes, we are. And it snowed last night and yesterday a little bit. Day Mellon the first. Good morning from North Wales. We've got two from North Wales now. Wow. Susie Carter's here. Julie Bartimus from
Illinois.
From Haska. Genealogy, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Good morning from Illinois. Julie says she'll be knocking on your door later for coffee. Chris Ferriello is here, and he's Italian by way of somewhere in Massachusetts. We won't give away. Hey, Lisa Gervais again. Let's see. Margaret Toll's here from Tennessee. Patricia Jackson is here from Kentucky. Victor is here. Hey, Victor, how are you doing? Snowy day in St. Louis or St. Louis, whichever way you want to pronounce that. Real Gear. Is that Steve Greenwood?
Yeah, it is Steve. Yeah.
It is Steve Greenwood. Hey, yeah. Steve.
You made it. Hey, Steve.
Smash that like button and stuff. I like that. Vicky Blanco's here. Audrey Martin. Tree Climber is here. Looking forward to this. What is she looking forward? We're having Christmas in January. Let's see. Janet Isles. Hey, Janet. I always love Janet when she comes in. I like seeing there's more Canadians popping up, I tell you. Even Canadians I never knew about. I'm not even going to say. You've already outed me and you're in trouble, Christine. Let's see.
I've been in trouble all week.
Stephen Tomaskowitz and John Tyner from Ireland. Let's see. D. Spencer Carr. Lots of extra people in here today. David Randall. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Have I got everybody? I believe I have Chris Wine. And there we go. Hillary Gadsby pulls in the rear for the last people coming in to have a good morning said to you. Welcome to the livecast. And I am going to automatically step back, enjoy my coffee, and watch this Elfathon. I am so excited. Hello, Greg. What are we doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Great. Well, thanks for everyone for joining us for the 12th day of Elfmas. Ooh, I even get promoted in the street. I just zipped across.
You got to be over here on the Canadian side.
Little elf magic. Yeah, the Canadian side of the board.
Kind of blew your little tassel back there when you moved over.
So yeah, welcome everyone. So for the regular listeners of the Saturday morning roundup, we are doing something a little different. There was a question of profiles, and we may mention those topics, later on after we go through all the elves. But I'm certainly not going to talk about those profiles this week, and I don't know if we even have time for a question of the week. We'll handle those next week or whatever. But we are focusing on the elves and the 12th day of Elfmas. So this is the big reveal after the Secret Santa 2023 challenge. So for the last 2 weeks, our elves have been very, very busy working away hard at solving as many wishes as they can.
Right.
And yes.
I was just thinking that maybe we should point out that aside from our regular people that are here, Betsy and Greg, good morning, y'all. Mm-hmm. We also have Christine Daniels, Eowyn the elf. She's so cute, and Julie Rickett. What can I say about Julie? She's so cute. Awesome. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I was just about to introduce them.
Here too.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to go back to Greg.
No, that's okay. No, that's fine. Yeah. So my co-lead elves are Christine and Kathy, who are there, and Eowyn, of course, is elf number 0, the original elf, the forest elf, and she's been great help in getting this all organized. And Julie is our Discord elf, and she has been amazing because every single elf who joined. Julie had to manually put them into the Secret Santa channel. So that was a lot of work.
Not a big deal. It was fun. I was happy to do it.
Well, especially at the begining when they were coming fast and furious and you were just keeping up, and that was great. But the Discord channel was amazing because we had over 80% of the elves were using Discord, and that was really lively for communication and collaboration and great stuff. So thank you very much to both of you for all of that. And Eowyn was doing G2G posts regularly about our 12 days of Elfmas, and that was very cool too.
I just did the last one.
Oh, you did, eh? Oh, excellent. I haven't actually read it, but I'm sure it'll be good. So why don't we're going to start off with stats, because I love stats. So we'll start off with that, and then a little bit of song, and then we'll go into looking at some of the wishes. So first of all, here are the stats. We had, there we go. Overall, we had 128 elves altogether. That's including the 5 elves here as well. 128 elves working on the Secret Santa this year. 324 wishes came from our original G2G posts as wishes accepted. And then there were 15 additional wishes that came from the question of the week that was similar and close enough that we could turn them into wishes that we could try and solve. So 339 total wishes that were made that we were looking at. Of those 339, we had a record 77 of those wishes actually granted.
It's amazing.
Which is an amazing, that's twice the number that we were able to solve from last year.
Wow.
Now, some of those that are marked solved are maybe half solved, like if it asked for parents and you got one and maybe not both, we may have marked it as solved. And some of them we may have jumped the gun and say it's solved when we just had lots of research notes that point in the right direction, but may not. But most of the ones that are solved are actually, answered the question. But some of them maybe a slightly, you might need to do a little bit more work to get there, but they're definitely on either all the way or almost all the way. 19 people the elves worked on and were just solid brick walls, and no matter what they could do, they couldn't get any further. But they added research notes and they made notes of what they found or didn't find. So that will continue to further your research. 79 other wishes were research, not solved, but again, research notes added. And so that's helpful. 7 wishes were given that were just unworkable because no initial profile was given originally. We actually had some guests members add wishes. So those are people who haven't actually completed the WikiTree, what is it called?
Signing the honor code.
So signing the honor code. So they're not a working WikiTree genealogist.
Greg, I'm so glad that somebody else says that.
Oh yeah, I was going to say terms and conditions. It's not exactly that. There's another word for it that's better. So some of those came from baby WikiTreeers or WikiTreeers in training, I guess we might say. And we had at the last count 502 profiles in the Secret Santa category. So any profile that was worked on or created was added to this category, or at least most of them were. There may even be more profiles out there that don't have the category added, but at least 502 of them were. So
502 times we remembered to do that.
502 times we remembered to do that. So that's pretty wild.
They're definitely not all on there.
They're not all on there.
No.
Right? Yeah. Well, and the cool thing is now with the My Connections, you could click on that and you could see which one of those profiles you're at. So some of these are actually cousins of mine that I never even knew, and so on. So that's kind of cool. So those are the stats, which are all very impressive. Almost as impressive as the song that goes along with the 12 days of Elfmas.
Yeah, people are saying in the chat they can't wait to hear the rest of the song.
Okay, so here is the song, and I'll just start at I'm not going to sing all 12 verses. I'm just going to sing the final verse. Okay.
Come
And
on.
to be fair, we actually had a little.
We'll do it around. Come on.
We would not
I'm
even
kidding.
begin to look at any of the wishes if we start. But we did actually have a choir. Kathy and Tia and Vicky joined me yesterday on a Zoom call. But unfortunately, if you ever try sing together on a Zoom call, it does not turn out pretty.
Oh,
So to save us all embarrassment, I won't play that recording for you. I think next year, if we record separate tracks, anyways, it didn't work out. So you're just going to get a solo version. So here we go. On the 12th day of Elfmas, the elves all gave to me dozens of wishes granted, 11 new baptisms, 10 French soldiers, 9 brick wall standing, 8 direct ancestors, 7th great-grandparents, 6 occupations, rose golden's tree, 4th great-grandma's parents, 3 generations, 2 British husbands, and a dad's family on WikiTree.
I love it.
Yes, so that was fun. And
Bravo.
thank you very much.
Encore.
Yes.
Where's the next one?
Well, in fact, there was a song that was penned by one of our elves, Tia Belker, and we called it Sourcing Bells, to the tune of, you know what. So maybe at the end of the LiveCast, we can sing that one together. If we want. But
multi-source website.
there you go. Yeah, it's very catchy.
All the way. On Elfmas Stream. No.
Oh, sorry.
No, change that screen so I can't continue. That's fine with me, man. Talk about the hook.
Got the hook. So we did something unique this year. We had an LiveCast for the 12 days of Elfmas, starting from Boxing Day, the 26th, up to yesterday. And each of these, of course, were the theme of that. And you can see all of those YouTube videos if you go check out the links that Awen put in the G2G posts. But also in the, we of course used a free space page to keep track of everything that we were doing. And this is what the elves all had access to, and that we used it to categorize all the wishes that we were looking at. So you can see here, if I zoom in a little bit maybe. So there's Santa's mailbox of wishes, and Christine and Kathy did the bulk of all of this organizing in terms of reading all the wishes, categorizing them, and then they put them in a spreadsheet. We have a little secret spreadsheet over here, which has a lot of all the details, color-coded and whatnot. And then I transferred it to the free space page with a little bit of little magic there. And this is what we worked on. I'm going to add the lyrics to the 12 days to that, as well as the Sourcing Bells carol. And when I do the final G2G thank you post to summarize the whole Secret Santa challenge, I will have a link to this page so that people can see that as well and check it out. So if you made a wish, then once I make that post, you can come to this page, look up your wish, and then see what people found. You can actually see who worked on your wish and give them a little thank you. And you can also see any notes that they wrote. But of course, on the profiles themselves, most of the elves added research notes anyways. So I'm going to zip down. So this has been reorganized so that the wishes at the top are the ones that we didn't quite solve. So some of them they'll say either looked at or research. Basically, those mean the same thing. Here's one with partly research, and there's some DNA pending, so that we can solve it after that. But then here's the list of all the solved wishes. And so I think I'm going to turn it over to Christine just to sort of take it from here. And I will just click on tabs and try and be quiet.
Sure.
Because I've talked enough.
Well, I'm just going to refer to my notes.
Okay.
And you can follow along how you wish.
Just follow along.
So, what was wish 12? There's a research note on the profile for wish 12.
Mm-hmm.
I do have it marked as solved.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So this was for Catherine Stoner. And what were they looking for? So Kay Knight was looking for her parents.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a huge note here that you can read about finding her parents and identifying the area in the state where we think she was from. So I think there was a little bit of maybe confusion or mistranscription at one point where the city name was, or the county name was Katy instead of Cato, or maybe it was a short form for something. So she's really gone through there's a lot of detail on the profile about what was looked at and where to find all of that information. It's not totally solved in that she doesn't have profiles made for her parents, but I think there's a lot of information there that could potentially lead to parents in the future. And a lot of these brick walls are brick walls because of the time period that we're looking at. So I noticed that a lot of the profiles that were in the States were very, very early, like early 1800s, even into the 1700s. And I don't research a lot in the States, so I don't know what kind of records are out there. But I do know that anybody who picked up any of these wishes had a really difficult time, for the most part, looking and finding the source records that they needed. And if it turns out to be a brick wall, then you know that somebody else has looked at it. And we've all collaboratively done as much as we can at this time. What are you on next? 18?
So wish 18, yeah.
All
Looking
right.
for parents or more information on this profile.
And that was the theme of a lot of them. So this is John Stevens from 1801 in England. The England team had a lot of work to do, and they came through with flying colors on a lot of profiles. And John Stevens does have parents.
Has parents.
So he is the son of John Stevens and Elizabeth, unknown maiden name, Stevens.
Okay.
And there was no evidence that he had a middle name, so that was taken out. But they did do a thorough search of the birth records in the Dorset History Center and other Dorset sources. Milk worked on that one. So yeah, parents for John.
Yeah. Yay. And Wish 20 we covered on the 11th day, so you can watch that YouTube video.
I'll skip that one. Wish 21. This was a wish for a complete transcription. There was a will that the wishie was working on and had most of it done on their own, but then there was a portion at the bottom that was written in Latin. And who knows how to read Latin anymore? Elves do. So the rest of the transcription was completed, including the Latin, which turned out to be a standard paragraph with no actual information. But at least you know. Now you know. It's not a secret. It's just some standard terms and conditions that they were putting in the register.
Latin boilerplate.
Right?
Who knew? Okay. Wish 24 was our lead the first day of Elfmas, and that was with Margaret Tall Meredith.
Yep.
Did a great job starting us off. And really, I got to give kudos to Margaret, because when we asked her to come on, she was right there and said, no problem, I'll be happy to do that. And then she said, after we talked about, she said, can I sort of talk about my methodology and what I used to solve the wish, which was wonderful and great. And I wish I had sort of paid more attention or been more on the ball, so I could have shown screenshots of where she was going. She led us all through it, but I wasn't sharing where she led us. But that changed how we did the rest of the LiveCasts, and we used that theme of
fantastic
methodology and how to find those sources and whatnot. And I think it really enhanced the LiveCasts. Okay, so on to Wish 28.
Wish 28 was, yes, they found the parents of Whitburn.
Mm-hmm. There we are.
That was an Australian wish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah.
And Margaret from Ireland.
Wish 30.
Wish 30 was another brick wall wish for Peter Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter has parents.
Mm-hmm. Jürgen Peterson.
And he also has an ancestor tab.
Oh.
And he has a little more than parents.
Look at that. Wow. That's very impressive.
Right?
Yeah. Can I have parents? No, you can't have parents. You can have a whole ancestral tree.
And it really does, again, amaze me that a lot of the elves who can work, have the ability to work in areas where you don't know how to work, right, can just go and magically find piles and piles of records and create lovely, enormous trees. We had some really good, if you haven't seen the Elfmas videos, they were absolutely fantastic. We learned so much about researching in Europe. And
we all wish we had scribes who were as diligent as the German.
As Swiss. The Germans, indeed.
Yeah. That was incredible.
They were.
Okay, 32.
32.
Death record.
Yep. There was, I think there's just notes on that profile. The wish was granted by Mary Sleppy and Karen Lowe. They found an obituary and a clipping. Mary went so far as to call the cemetery where the rest of the family is buried.
Wow.
She's in Houston, and added their page of info on the family plot as an image for her husband. And then Emma offered to also look at the DNA if she thought that would be useful.
Nice. 35, wish 35 was presented on the third day of Elfmas. That was the first day when we had Elf Danny Gutnacht from Germany.
And Danny did some crazy, amazing work. It was, yeah, that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about detail in the baptism, it not only tells you where the order, like the third child, but it'll also say the second son of the family, third child, but second son. Like, it's so detailed. That was just, anyways, made us very, very jealous.
Jealous, yes.
And then the wish 42 was the second day of Elfmas. And moving on. And then wish 47 was the 10th day of Elfmas. All of these early wishes we lined up because I needed to find ones that matched the numbers of the lyrics. So that's why the earlier ones got on Elfmas more often than not.
Well, after Greg decided to do 12 days of Elfmas, and then I realized what we were up against.
Yes.
I had to quickly go around and find profiles that match the 1 through 12 criteria.
Yeah, that's right. Wish 52.
Yeah, Wish 52 is looking for information on a birthplace, and Elizabeth now does have a birthplace of Dutchess, New York. That's Dutchess County.
There's a Dutchess County?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dutchess with a T, though.
Ah, interesting.
Yes. And she also has parents.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
55?
55.
Oh, this was one of those negative ones, wasn't it?
I don't know that. Did you look at this one?
Yeah, I did briefly. Yeah. So
Go ahead.
So in this one, they want to find out. Yes, they wanted to prove. So Anna was mentioned in a father's will, but they wanted to have proof of that. And the elves, when they looked through it, they realized that the Solomon Hansen, who wrote the will, bequeathed to his daughter Anna Hansen, who was unmarried. But this Anna Hansen was definitely married in 1802 when the father passed away, because she was already married and had children, 6 children by then. So it could not have been the same Anna Hansen. And so they detached the parents. So in one sense, it's sort of a negative find, but that's
Right.
important to know, and so that we can continue this quest.
Yeah, that's where we get into conflation, and we start when we had a lot of that too. I mean, we always do, where we have people with the same name, and then you have to really be careful to make sure you're not getting 2 of them mixed up.
Yeah. And then David Randall had a wish that was solved by Danny on wish number.
Yeah, birth record for Edward, which reads, on Monday, the June 19th, the priest, Mr. Ebert, baptized a legitimate child who was born on the 13th, same month at 3 a.m. in Firth, house number 141, giving him the names Johann Heinrich Edward. The father is Mr. Philip Erlein, owner of a lithographic company here. This was the one where he knew that he must be connected to, there was a family and they were all lithographers. And he knew that he must be connected, but he wanted to confirm without being able to read any of the German records. And Danny was able to confirm that the immigrant ancestor did belong to the lithographic family in Germany. And again, in a show of like amazing German records, it gives everybody's name, house number, where they were from, mother's maiden name, everything.
Yeah, if you can read the script.
Well, yes, we had a lesson on reading German script as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the godparent of Edward was the brother of the child's mother, so he gets an uncle as well in there.
Bonus.
Yeah.
So that's the type of record. I always love looking at the original records. They're just so cool. And there's such a variety from this. And number 59 was another one solved by Danny.
Another Danny wish. He added a bunch of siblings and he added parents as well to that.
Mm-hmm. Look at all those siblings and parents. Yeah. And wish 61.
Wish 61. Don't have enough.
Any information for Robertson?
I think that was looked at.
Mm-hmm. So we have the biography is filled out. There's some censuses added to it. So children. So there's lots of information now added that wasn't there before.
Claire worked on that quite a bit. There's if you in the changes log, there's a lot of edits, a lot of bio improvements, lots of research notes.
Look at all those, yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm trying to look at these profiles and see like if it's been fulfilled to what the wishy wanted, you have to go into the changes log and see, like, because all of the information becomes seamless when you're creating, when the alpha goes in and just makes a lovely biography for the profile.
Yeah.
But there's tons of information there.
Wish 72 was presented on the 4th day of Elfmas, another Danny. That's the one where Danny leads us through how to interpret the German script. And there's the handwriting is not quite the same as the cursive that I learned here in Canada. So it's very interesting, and there's some special characters. So that's a really neat one to watch if you haven't already seen it. Wish 74.
Hang on, let's back up 1 second.
Oh, okay.
I want to go back to wish 64, which was a DNA wish.
Oh.
That was for the profile is Reimer 570. RYMER.
Oh, okay, there we go.
So Emma had a look at this one, and she got close, but not entirely able to solve it. Somewhere in that tree, there's some endogamy, so that makes the DNA a little less easy to go through. So she wasn't able to pinpoint the answer, but she does have hints, and she did a good research note, I think, on that profile. She did find Christina living in William Scott's household in 1860, and she had already suggested that his family was the possible birth father, and that's Scott 60204. She's also waiting for another DNA test to come through so that she can do more, another analysis from another person.
Okay.
So that's one that's kind of there, but still has potential to be completely solved.
Okay. So where were we?
And then my next one I had was 74.
Mm-hmm.
That one was solved by Gwyneth.
Mm-hmm. All right. Looking for wishes before the person was born, right?
Yes.
And the biography, you can see, starts at the birth where he was working.
Yeah, and I don't think she was able to find anything. This was the guy who moved. So I think he was likely that he was born in Wales, but then he moved to London.
Mm-hmm.
And again, being between Wales and England with a very common name that could be misspelled as Davis. It wasn't something that was able to be, we couldn't nail him down because there's too many options. But she did leave quite a bit of notes on the bottom there for Kayla to go over.
Yeah. If we tracked the number of lines of research notes added collectively during this challenge, it would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had 75, which was a brick wall. And again, notes upon notes upon notes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge, long profile. And then there's also questions. So they had 9 verified children.
Mm-hmm.
They have some questions about, why did somebody have a certain name? Where did that name page come from? Why was the one son the only living child that wasn't mentioned in the will? That might be an awkward question.
Awkward.
But yeah, this guy had a lot of wives.
Mm-hmm.
And 76 was another brick wall.
Mm-hmm. And Stanley worked on that one.
Did a lot of work. Also.
And he found a birth record. There's the birth record from Family Search.
Fantastic.
Because I'm not connected. Now, our friend Kathy down below, she did amazing work by going to the Family Search Center and getting, how many records do you think or images did you find, Kathy, over the whole quest?
Maybe a handful of them.
I thought you had a lot more that you were posting in the Discord.
I think it looked like it because I think I went and got them and then forgot that I had gotten them.
Oh no.
Because I didn't mark on the page that I had gotten them. So that's on my suggestion list of what to do for next year is a better way of
I see. But were you
marking
fast
that I got them?
Were you faster retrieving them the second time around?
Yes. But it also helps when I have links to the index page.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Anyway,
and then how many of those records were actually, did they have the information that was required?
Mm-hmm.
Did they hold the clue necessary?
They hold the clue. That's right.
That I don't know. But I do have all the images that I did get. I do have them, so I can access them at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was one that was on there for a lookup. And I tried finding the name. We haven't gotten to it yet, but I couldn't quite find it. So I just grabbed all the images for that year.
Oh,
right.
There was only like a handful for each year. So,
so a little bit more work for the elf to do, or for the profile manager to do. Cool.
Yes.
Okay, Wish 80 looks difficult.
Wish 80 is solved. I'm just gonna give me 1
wow.
second. But look at the Ancestor tab.
Okay, so this is, there we go. So Christina Andrichevich, ancestors. Wow. Look at that.
This was Dee's wish.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it got solved.
So they found all of those ancestors in Croatia. Amazing.
Biscuit.
Thanks. So, and anyone else who's in the chat here, you can you can pipe in too if there's something interesting you see, or if you have any questions. On to 83, looking for birth information. Let's see. Did I start that here? 83.
Yeah, again, this is another like early one, 1820 Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it was, yeah, it was looked at, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes the things that we're looking for just aren't there.
Right.
But there's a good research note,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully Tracy can go from there.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how everybody's using research notes. That's such a valuable way to document stuff.
We did.
And I hope
Emphasize that.
Mhm.
it's a good example set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to mention about Scotland is that one of the members of the project went through and pulled out all the Scotland wishes and kind of threw it out there as a little bit of a mini challenge for the Scotland
Oh.
project if anyone wanted to work specifically on those. And I think that was a really good idea. So that might be something we want to follow up on next year,
Mm-hmm.
is maybe try and get some of these projects involved and see
Mhm.
if they can help with some of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was helpful.
And then I have, it's not marked, I don't think. If you have it in your list for 86, do you have 86?
86. I don't have 86 marked there, but let me just
Okay.
go back to here.
86 was something that
Oh, here it is.
you don't have 86, but you edited the biography.
I know. Noted wish. 86.
This is one that we were working on in
There
Discord
we go.
yesterday. And I think it was Celia that was looking for, Celia did a lot of work on this
Right.
family for Stephen and found lots of records, and I was able to help her out with a bunch of newspaper clippings. So Mary does have parents,
Mm-hmm.
and if you go to John,
Right.
and then John actually had 3 wives,
Right.
and it's just a huge extended family. And we were, Celia was just making, more and more and more children
Yes.
out there.
So I think in the original profile, Mary was written as the daughter of John and Eva, but based on the marriage dates there and the fact that it looks like her mother had to have been Maria, right? Who passed away when she came over. So she probably was raised by Eva.
Mm. Yes.
I think that
Well,
was,
what's a widower to do with a bunch of children?
well, just find someone else to
Find
help them
another
out. And then find someone else after that.
Right. Oh, and then
Yeah.
if you have 87, 87 is another DNA wish
Okay. Okay.
that Emma worked on. So she was looking for the parents of that profile,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not connected yet.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So she's not sure who the exact father is, but she does have a relation. So there's another profile. It's Lassiter 224.
Okay.
That is either James Lafayette Lassiter is either the son or the grandson of Lassiter 224.
Hmm.
And then there's another Lassiter profile that is Lassiter 344, and that one is also a grandson, but doesn't have a known father, or maybe there's just too many sons to pick from, and we just haven't found the paper trail.
The connection
So
in between.
genetically they're related, but paper-wise they haven't been figured out yet.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And Emma did a lot of those DNA searches and wishes.
Yeah. There was also in that wish was for Patterson, Harriet Patterson, so that's James's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Her father is James S. Patterson, and then his mother is Lucinda Dyer, and then that tree from Lucinda goes up, I think, as well.
Very cool.
And then the third one that she had was Willie Mae Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not really sure who the father exactly is, but his father is a son of Wade Hampton Hughes and his wife, Elizabeth Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
And then Emma will be sending out
Details.
some
Yeah.
information about that one. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wish 88. Number of keys on a keyboard. Just in case you know, it's been a while since we talked math or any numbers.
Oh. I noticed a lot of Fibonacci comments in the comments.
Oh, yes. There we go. Thank you. Those are my peeps.
Oh, so Robert has a mother.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have a father.
Mm.
Oh,
Nice
is
bio.
this?
So the
Was this one? Yeah, this was. Yes, I looked at this one. Okay, now I know who he is. There was a question on this one because he got married in England,
Mm-hmm.
but all of the records said that he was born in Pennsylvania. And that just seems like a really weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't figure out, was he really born in Pennsylvania? Where was he born? Where did he come from? So they did actually confirm that he was born in Pennsylvania. And now I can see that they've attached a mother. He was married the first time to Sarah in England. And then I believe they came over. Were they the ones that came over to Canada? Or then he came over? Maybe I'm getting them mixed up. But then he got, yes.
Born in Pennsylvania,
yeah.
came to Saskatchewan.
So he's born in Pennsylvania, and then he gets married in England, and then somehow ends up in Canada, and then gets remarried to a second wife who's from Ontario. And then they have some more children, and then they both die in Nanaimo.
BC.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there was a lot of tracking done on that on that one. It was hard to pin down, especially with a name like Robert Davidson. Again,
yeah,
it's and I think some of the records were possibly Davison. Yeah, in the research notes, his parents are noted as Robert Davison with no D and Margaret Sewell.
Interesting.
Yeah, but again, lots and lots of notes.
Cool. Wish 91 from Mason Bunker.
Yes, Dunya did that one. And I think she was able to confirm through reading a record that his parents are Johann Carl Philipp Hess and Ava Maria Kaiser. And again, if you click the Ancestry tab, you got some grandparents too.
Nice. Look at that.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I also noticed sticker added for the Hess name study. Now, was that there before or after?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But cool that they added that. And look at our little sticker here, our Secret Santa sticker.
Yep.
Whee. 92, looking for parents in Scotland.
So they do have parents now. I don't know how you find parents in Scotland for somebody born in 1830. It blows my mind. But his father is Hugh Cameron, and his mother's name is Cunningham. And her last name is McFadden, which has to be fairly easy to track.
You would think.
And again, there's some notes on the bottom and
You-
a possible gravestone.
You would be amazed at some of these names that you think would be unique
Hmm.
that
Oh,
turn
yes.
out to be very common in a certain area, which is the area that you're looking at.
Hmm.
I think Celia ran into that as well. Celia did a lot of work this week.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
past
was.
2 weeks.
I was reading a conversation about how many people can there possibly be named Fetna, and turns out I think there was 2 of them, and I didn't follow. I don't get to the end of that. I didn't follow the end of that trail, but I don't know if it was 2 of them or if they were just in 2 separate places or what it was. But there was a lot of frustration going on that one.
Yeah.
So we've got up to Wish 100 right now.
All right, so Wish 100 is solved by
Mhm.
Mason Bunker. Irving Marsh has a father.
Yay. And what was it was any information on the great grandfather. Yeah. So we actually have a bit of a biography here about him, some house and stuff. So here we go. Yeah, 103.
Yeah, Mason added children and research notes to Irving's profile.
Mhm.
Oh, 103.
Looking for the whereabouts of the great aunt. Let's see if we can find her.
I have it marked as solved.
We found her in Logieville, Miramichi, north in New Brunswick.
And
Yeah.
again, that's an area where I'm just amazed that people can find records because, I mean, yeah, 1892 in New Brunswick.
Yeah, there we go. And some good research notes here with links to a number of different sites.
There was I did look at this one briefly. There was a lot of research notes here, but again, it's a name thing. Like her name was Geneva, but then she shortened it to Eva. So when you're trying to track a girl who changes her name,
yeah, I wouldn't have
and
thought of
especially-
Geneva going to Eva, but it makes sense when you listen to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then of course being either King or Wilson, those are very common as well.
Okay, but look at, there's a research note on guitar. Who knew that we had WikiTree profiles with guitar? Okay, so there we go. Eva Mary guitar.
There you go.
It's probably, I wonder what nationality that is. It's probably not pronounced guitar. It might be guitar. I don't know. But I wonder if there's a piano. Piano 1.
Max is looking.
There is. There's a John piano. Okay, sorry.
Oh dear.
That's my little digression for today. I had to digress at least once, right?
Yes.
I got it. Okay. Guitard was the original spelling, and it's from the ancient Germanic personal name Widhard, Widhard, composed of elements of wood, forest, and hard, strong. Habitational name of Guitard, the name of several places in the southern part of France.
Oh.
So there you go.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, French makes sense.
Excellent. That's great. Oh, okay. We're not going to be able to get through all of these, are we, Christine?
No.
So-
You know what? I tried in
Christine,
vain.
we're so used to Greg running over
Oh, I know.
on Saturdays that, you know, yeah.
Oh,
I tried so hard to make
Yes.
notes. I've got notes and notes and notes. And
Yeah.
honestly, there's no way to do it in an hour for sure. So I don't know. Do we want to? We're getting close to an hour. What's our goal here? Do we want to?
Well, that's a third of them, right? That we
Yeah,
got.
that's about if they're
Yeah.
equally spaced, that would be about a third of them. So I don't know if people will want to stick around for the entire list.
Can you just go through the list and then people can, when they have access to the page, then they can go to the profiles and check
That's
out the profiles?
yeah. I think that's what we'll
Okay.
end up doing. So for those whose wishes are beyond this,
Why don't I have some notes so I can just
Yeah.
talk without you trying to keep up with
well, you talk and I will try. I'll find them or I won't find them. We'll make it a
so
challenge.
in our document, in the Secret Santa reveal document, I
Oh,
have
yeah.
a bunch that are listed, and I tried to put all the profiles there. So I'm just going to start
Okay.
with that one. Let's see. We talked about 100. So the next one I had was 130. I had that marked as a third solved. So there was it was who are the parents of either my great grandfather.
Okay.
There was a couple of profiles there, or Catherine Ball, my great grandmother. Roz worked on the father of Catherine Ball and created and sourced her father. So that was partially done.
Cool.
The other two were, it's a question of between Poland and Russia. And I know it's very difficult when we have borders that change constantly. And I know that a lot of those researchers, when we talked about researching in Poland and Germany and all of these places, and it comes down to, do we know a little bit farther down, other than country, can we get it down a little bit farther so that we know which region, which canton that we need to look in? Because as Danny was telling us earlier in the week, if you can find the area that they came from, then you can get the specific parish register and look at all those parish registers. But without that, it's kind of trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
Wish 139, Celia worked on this one and did a free space page for her research on that.
Look at that. This is very impressive. Look at that.
Wow.
I
love
some of
maps.
these elves, I just don't know when you slept. And I just don't know when you ate food or slept. You must have just been running on.
I love the
On the
heading.
4 food groups
It's like
of
a running
elves.
commentary. Side trip, back to the family. Oh, back to what we know about Willie. I love it.
It's fantastic. That was really well done.
And in conclusion. Okay.
Yep.
She got her she passed her high school English essay class right now.
Oh, and then 189 was another DNA wish. And the parents are not attached as of yet. I think Emma was going to do that maybe later today. But the father of Goldie is Andrew Sylvester Lang, and her mother is Lucille May Barkus. And they also have profiles.
Nice.
And then I think also that those, I think her tree kind of goes, maybe not the father, but the mother. Click on, is she attached to a?
Lucy?
Okay, no, maybe not. Anyway, she's got piles of family.
Cool.
Lots of profiles done there.
Nice.
Wish 221, I have Linda Chickering was able to find a World War I military record and a pension information from the Iowa Old Age Tax Assistance Records, which named his parents John Peter's son and Felinda Chapin. And then she found 3 siblings for Frank.
Cool.
Wish 230. This was an interesting one too. This was one of the ones that we were thinking of doing for the 6th day of Elfmas, but we switched and did a different one. Elf Kirby worked on this one and found a bunch of newspaper clippings. This guy was really interesting. He was
this is very cool.
He was in the employ of the town or the county or whatever, and they had charged him with embezzlement of funds over the span of a number of years. And so she found all these clippings about, how good of a person he was and all the evidence against him and the other guy that they were looking at to charge as well. And the very last document that she found was the indictment decision is expected later today. And that was it. So we still don't really know what happened, but we have a better idea of what was going on with all these clippings. We don't know what the outcome was.
Were they all from the same newspaper?
Yep, I think so.
So
well, they're all from the Chicago. Well, many were from the Chicago Tribune. Chicago Tribune.
yeah. I wonder if you just looked at the next few days of the newspaper, if you would.
I think if somebody wanted to take the time and go and look at that next paper and then try to read through it, but just trying to do a search did not yield anything on that one.
Yeah, I was curious about this one as well. So I looked at an indictment doesn't mean that they were criminal. It means that if they were indicted, that means that there's grounds for criminal charges, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that the criminal case went forward.
Right.
And one thing I found, I searched for Francis A. Becker, the person who was expected to be indicted against as well.
Okay.
And he was on trial. He did go to trial, and his case was all about corruption in the Chicago police.
Oh,
sorry,
no.
Betsy. And sorry, Joe. And his went to trial, and because some of the other stuff claimed that Giles was that there was some political interference with his charge, I'm wondering if they went for the larger fish and just left Henry Giles alone. So that's a theory that I'm throwing out there, and I added.
Yeah, maybe.
Minds want to know.
Because he didn't die in prison.
No, he was free after that, and then moved on to other places.
So we don't know, but we don't know. Like, was he fined? Did he, time served?
Yeah. Very plea deal. Someone says maybe. Right. Yeah.
Then I have.
But that's an excellent suggestion, Betsy. Just to go through the paper, because maybe it just wasn't indexed, or how sometimes the indexing puts strange letters in, and so you can't find it.
Right. I mean, it seems like if that newspaper had taken the care to cover it in detail up to that point.
Yeah. Why would they drop it? Why wouldn't they say?
Yeah.
Good point.
All right. 233 was a brick wall from Don Watson.
And we did a whole day on brick walls. The 9th day was the Ellsworth sale.
Yeah, we didn't cover this one, but I think it's still brick walled. There's no there's lots of notes on the profile.
Yes.
I didn't put the link in here. Sorry.
That's okay.
But it's there's lots of notes on the profile to aid future researchers. I feel this brick wall is breakable using advanced research methodologies and offline records, but could not break it with the records available to me online.
Right.
241 was marked as solved. David said there's a very good chance that the possible parents mentioned in the profile research notes are the correct ones. There's a birth record for John in 63 in Oldham and a census record for Oldham in 71 from Family Search that links these people together. Wish 255 was super easy. That was just somebody needing help to get their account back in order. And Emma Kathy and Elf Julie for the win. Wish 259 from Howard Williams, find ancestors of his paternal grandfather, and he now has parents.
He does.
Okay, I have to talk about 288.
Okay.
Because this was Jinx's wish, and I love Jinx to death because Jinx worked so hard on my English lines before, and she does so much work for the English project. And in the true spirit of giving, she asked for something not for herself, but for an unrelated, unconnected profile of a notable. And Alf Lisa, who I also adore and love, went ahead and created those profiles. And now that that notable is connected. And it was a Mexican notable.
There we go.
Did you find
Tori
it?
Trinidad
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Look at
So I
that.
don't know if they have, I don't know if Lisa, oh yes. I
Lisa's
can
there.
see. Yeah. Nope. No, you can click on the Ancestors tab over there.
Oh, sorry.
Yours shows a bit different than mine.
Oh. There we go.
Yep. And so Lisa was able to connect him to the tree twice through two different lines.
Nice. Yeah, I think is the connection through one of his in-laws or niece.
Yes, I think so. It was one of the kids got married, and then through that American line, which is super easy, was connected.
Nice.
289 was solved for Peter Berkey. Elf Danny again was to the rescue on this one and found baptisms for 3 different profiles, and then connected Berkey to his parents. So there's a huge ancestor tree again on that one.
291. Oh, you're whipping along. You're getting there.
Yep. 291. Elf Curtis solved that one. I didn't get I promise every year I will be more and more organized.
Oh, that's okay.
I think we were all a little overwhelmed at over 300 wishes.
That's right. It was a lot to manage this year. There we go.
Yes.
Born on Christmas Day he was in Prussia. Yeah. Look at that.
And then 293, Elf Susan worked on that one. I think that was the one they wanted a connection between the husband and the wife, but we weren't really sure what the spirit of the wish was. Joseph was already connected to the tree, and then Susan was going to work on the wife's family. And then Joseph was also, he falls under the USBH. So I left that one there, but I think without a little more clarification, I'm not really sure what we were going for. But
USBH is the US Black Heritage Project.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Wish 300 was solved. Elf Claire again was working on this one. She was able to find Alexander after the 1891 census, and then she found his marriage record, and he got married to a girl named Janet Ann Watson. And she knows how they met because they were both employed at an asylum in Renfrewshire. He was an asylum attendant, and she was a nurse. And they went on to have 2 sons, Alexander and Samuel. And then Alexander died in 1941 at the age of 66.
Wow.
Wish 305. Lisa again found a record that I should have known to look for myself, but it is what it is. So she found this woman. She lived in Ontario, and she died. She lived and died in Ottawa, and she was buried in Beechwood Cemetery, which is a huge cemetery in Ottawa. And they, of course, have a huge cemetery register, which happens to be online. And it named her parents as William and Anne. And I had found another record that referenced William and Anne. So we know what her parents' names were. We need to still work on finding them. It looks like Anne probably died fairly young. I tried tracking her siblings and was not terribly successful in that. But they seem to have kind of scattered about the countryside, and none of them are mentioned in her obituary. So I don't know if there was a falling out or if they just lost contact with each other after she was married. But I was able to find lots of clippings, and her husband was actually a bandmaster. There's a really cool picture on the profile of him. And there was a really interesting clipping that I found from one of the Ottawa papers about how she got stunned by a bolt of lightning and was knocked unconscious. She fell into her husband's arms, and was unconscious for half an hour, and then came to, and then went on to live several more years. He unfortunately was already sick with something, so he passed away the same year. But there's lots of notes and trying to chase siblings and all that. 306 was solved. I'm going to say solved. There was a lot of back and forth over where the heck did this surname come from. And it looks like it was, you know, another case of somebody has left the country they were born in and they have come to the States, and it got written down incorrectly. So I think her last name is going to end up being Doornheim. So Doornhein.
All right.
They were able to find lots of people. I don't think any of them have been connected.
No.
But I think they have a good lead on who the rest of her family is. So there should be piles and piles of notes.
Yes,
there was a huge discussion about that in the Discord channel. Wish 312 is a brick wall that Emma worked on through DNA. She wasn't able to find the answer due to a lack of DNA on a specific surname. But she sent a clue to Cliff that Rebecca is related to John Holiday Turner, probably through his parents. She couldn't find out who John's parents were, and most trees that she found online, I don't know if that was Ancestry or Family Search, had the wrong parents connected. So through further research and finding the siblings of John and the kids of those siblings, you'll probably find Rebecca's dad, who's likely named Charles Turner, from the marriage record. And
wish pi, or wish 100 times pi.
Wish 100 times pi. Oh, goodness.
Okay. Thank you. I thought that there was an angel that had just gotten its wings because I heard a bell. And I'm like looking around the room, looking for the bell and the tree and for the angel, but it's somebody at Christine's door.
Oh no. So Wish 314, Elf Kirby, who's done amazing work, and we feature Kirby was the elf featured yesterday on the 11th day of Elfmas. Again, went to the workshop. She found fourth great grandparents for that wish. And then moving on to Wish 316, another marriage record and baptism for the firstborn daughter. Found the parents of the wife. So this one's partly solved for what was requested.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Those records weren't available. They're missing the church books. They were lost.
Church books, right.
So the book that the information was in, much like the 1890 census, gone. So partly solved on that one. Right.
And that was Elf Kathy's wish.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. So we got a partial.
319 was for George Coffey Anderson. This wish was put in by the wife of a descendant of George Coffey Anderson, but Alice was able to go in and actually, the profile was already there in WikiTree. It was created for George in 2020. He's the father of 16 children.
Count them.
And his paternal lines go back quite a bit. So the only thing to do now is that either that WikiTreeer needs to work his tree up to George, or somebody needs to work the 16 children down and then find the connection in there somewhere. But I don't think there was any question as to George's name and all of that. I think that prior research has already been done.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
324 was another DNA wish by Emma. She was able to find the birth father. She's still looking for the birth mother, and she thinks she's probably from New York.
Okay.
I'm done.
You're done.
Wow.
Well done. Thank you, Christine.
I
for-
don't think you're done. I don't think you're
No,
done. I think you're going to be back next year.
I'm done like dinner for today, though.
For today, yes. Yeah. Wow.
But we
Well,
do
I-
have lots of thoughts for next year. The
Mhm.
elves really had a lot of input on how to get things organized so that they can work better, more quickly, more organized fashion. So we were changing things a little bit on the fly as we were going, and I think
Yeah.
if we incorporate a lot of those ideas
Mhm.
next year, it's going to be even better.
Mhm. I think one of the
That's
frustrations.
in true
Yeah,
WikiTree style.
yeah, that's right.
And just as you
There you go. Well, one of the challenges was with so many wishes, over 300 wishes on one free space page, and 128 L's all trying to access them. There were times when you'd go to edit, because
Yes.
you had to. What we asked the L's to do was to edit that little section for a specific wish to say that they're working on it or to give updates and whatnot. And there were times when people were trying to edit different parts of the free space page, and it was, it would say, "Oh, someone else is working on it. You can't save this yet," and that's frustrating when that happens. And if you're not used to it, if you're new at editing free space pages, and this is a new experience, then that could be discombobulating. So, but our L's stuck with it, and they did a wonderful job. Yeah.
Okay, stop sharing, Greg. I am
Stop sharing?
officially. I'm closing all my windows.
You're closing your tab.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just like
Oh, yeah.
a regular
Oh,
live cast. It's
Another
about 11
another stat I could have added was
Yeah.
the maximum number of tabs open during an Elfcast was 35.
35.
35 tabs, yes.
Woo-hoo.
Well, I quickly realized that we weren't going to be able to do slides because I wasn't going to be able to keep up with
No.
it. And I remember Mindy used to chastise me slightly for having way too many slides for the WikiTree challenge when I would do
Yes.
presentations for that.
Yeah,
So
I know. But the elves
That's
worked so
okay.
hard. We wanted to give everyone their due.
I do. I want to have all the time. I want to talk about every single wish, and unfortunately, I can't. So
welcome to my world.
dear. But I want to
Um,
thank every single wishy that submitted a wish.
Was it a wishy or a wisher?
We called them wishies.
We call them wishies, but
Wishy,
Yeah.
wisher.
And every single elf, whether you felt like you contributed or not, you did.
There you go, Christine.
mm,
Applause, applause, applause. I knew my wish was difficult.
mhm,
Lots of nice comments.
yeah.
You guys, everybody was
May-
fantastic.
May the spirit of Elfmas continue throughout the year.
That's right.
Well, an angel got its wings.
Oh yeah,
Very
my doorbell.
How apropos was that?
That's right. Yes.
Oh,
Scared
okay.
the dog. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Unless you want to sing the sourcing bells, I think the
Go,
elf
do it,
portion.
do
no.
it. Do it. Do it.
It's 11:17 and it's or 11:19 and it's almost time for football.
It's
So-
almost
I have to leave soon. Yeah.
okay.
Greg, do you have any last words you want to add to what's going on?
Well, I
here?
just
Thank you. Yeah.
Christine has thanked all the wishies and the elves, and I just like to thank my co-conspirators here, Christine and Kathy, for all the hard work they did. They spent hours doing, like, organizing and then going back and checking and helping people and working through the Discord, and Julian Aowen as well for helping us get all the things set up and supporting us as well. So it was I think it was a wonderful challenge, and it worked out very well. So
We'll see you next Christmas.
Yeah.
We'll see you next
Well,
Christmas.
Yes, it was
Before-
you guys did a lot of really great stuff. That's
But-
fantastic.
I think we
your
need to
elf
conscript
hat on,
another
we'll
lead
do
elf
that
to
next
join us, though. if it's gonna exponential like
I
this.
bet you can recruit somebody. I bet you can find somebody.
Well,
we
that was
appreciate-
actually talked about where we have a lead elf for every country, so we could have like an English elf, and a German elf,
Oh.
and they can
Oh,
just
a Sinterklaas and a
Yeah,
Father
see,
there you go. There you go.
read the Niederhoch Deutsch. Thank you so much for doing that for us today. We really have nothing more to say other than Betsy and Greg and I will be here elfless. We'll be so sad next Saturday. We will see you then. You guys have a wonderful WikiTree week, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.